Hello, my little weirdos. Yes, I am tired. Um, no, I am not going to speak about Charlie Kirk tonight. Um, yesterday, we were on the way. The gal picked me up, and I were on the way. I found out about it actually waiting for her about Charlie Kirk. And one of the organizers had tried to give everybody a heads up before we left. Most of us are, looking at videos. We're getting ready for the protest, And the first one I went to was 2 weeks ago, and we had done 2 overpasses in Morristown, New Jersey for the first time, so that was kind of nice. This time, we were supposed to be doing all three of them. And we had different messages. And, you have a letter on each board, so you have to have the right letters for the message. Well, this happened after the organizers were there. You know, we kind of had to do a different message. But they did it. They did it. And they decided to there was 50 of us between the three bridges, and they decided to bring us all to the one bridge that I had been assigned to, the main bridge, because of what had happened. And they just didn't want us all scattered around Morristown. We just wanted us in one place in case something happened. And somebody did, right before that, somebody had stopped his truck, and there was a green light, and he was screaming practically halfway out his cab, yelling and pointing at us, screaming, "You killed Charlie Kirk!" It's like, even now, as far as I just looked, and they don't have any suspect. Part of the reason for that is a few months back, Utah was one of the things that the Trump administration fired the guy that takes care of that kind of security and issues in the in the state. And so they lessened it, the staffing. It was the Trump administration that lessened staffing and made things less effective. I mean, that's part of the problem on why they still, it's like, Laurel and Hardy, they still, from what I understand, they question somebody, but that guy had a pellet gun, from what I understand. It wasn't a pellet gun, okay? It looked like a rifle, but it was just a pellet gun. There's a lot of things I could say, and I will say I'm never happy when anyone dies. I mean, people wrestle with the age-old question of, if you could go back in time and you knew what Adolf Hitler would do, would you go back in time and find a way to cease him becoming? Or end him because what he's gonna, murder millions and millions and millions of people, would you do it? And most people don't just say absolutely yes, because there's always ramifications. Because if this and this didn't happen, it's like quantum leap. If this doesn't happen, then this won't happen. And if that doesn't happen, this won't happen, which was the turning point in that person's life. However, that person's life would be totally for the worse, but that person and that person's life would be a lot better. You see what I'm saying? Like the butterfly effect, so just make it a flat out thing. I will say also that one of the things he has said recently and often is, I don't believe in empathy. Same that Elon had said, and, yada yada. Well, kind of hard to have empathy for somebody who doesn't offer it to anybody else and wouldn't offer it even if you saved his life and he had to turn around and save somebody else's, he wouldn't do it. So, you know, he spent his entire life working to fuck up the thinking of an entire generation. And by that I mean by telling them, making them believe that the Christian way is the only correct way, and every other way you're just a stupid ass. And you're gonna, like, suffer eternal pain in a physical hell. I will say this certainly, and I'm not saying anything, but it was getting pretty hot with the birthday book coming out for the Epstein trial. I mean, the Epstein files. Oops. And seems like worked as a pretty good unifier for MAGA when they were so divided about the Epstein files. I haven't heard them screaming anything about the Epstein files today. It's all about lowering the flags. And I said I wasn't going to talk about the incident, and I'm not talking about that. I'm talking around it. I've seen, I don't know if you've seen it, I've seen some things where the guys in the baseball caps, in some places he's beside them, they're beside him, in some places they're like behind him, and at one, I don't know, there's so much going on. There was like, they were making weird signs, like one of them would be like this, and this, and this, and then do something like, and the other guy would be like, tip with his hat, and then go like this and look at the other guy. So I don't know if that was like AI. I have the whole thing didn't look it, but so that's why I said, I mean, that looked awful shifty. And I gotta say, it got MAGA off his back about the Epstein files. And now all they are is, of course, he goes out and gives a glowing, legendary, he's going to lower the flags. MAGA forgot all about Epstein. Charlie Kirk himself has said on numerous occasions that having the Second Amendment, sometimes there's going to be firearm deaths, but, that's the price you pay for the Second Amendment, for having that right. Well, all I'm going to say is, and this is just a fact, there's many times a bullet goes to literally innocent people just caught in crossfire or misidentified as the wrong person or something, and they're murdered. This wasn't that. I mean, if that's the best I can say, but at least it wasn't a quote unquote innocent person. In other words, not somebody that somebody was intending to shoot or had a reason to shoot. The guys like that Uber driver that just went nuts and was just shot somebody and shot another person. They didn't do anything to him. He just shot him. That's what I call an innocent person. Even if maybe they themselves in their life wasn't an innocent person, in their death they had no reason to be shot down. That's what I mean by innocent. And you can't really say that about him at all. Because he was a misogynistic, racist, bigoted. He did everything he could to destroy LGBTQ trans people. Very misogynistic, very racist people. I mean, there's only so sad you can be as just a human being when somebody like that runs ahead. You know, I mean, I know he was somebody's son, somebody's husband, two little kids' dad. And that part of it's sad. That part of it's fucked up. Very much so. But that's the human side of me. The reality side of me is a very loud voice that was doing a very great disservice to this country and to an entire generation, if not more, of Americans, of young people, has had his ideology, his biased ideology, just completely jammed down their throats. And you know, he wasn't somebody that you would want to show as a shining example of somebody to emulate. I'm really trying to be kind here, because that is my first instinct. But I also am not going to, like, blow smoke up your butt and try to make you believe, you know, with some glowing words that he was some fabulous person that the entire planet is now missing out on his presence. I just can't say that. I'm sorry. But I'm not gleeful about it. And that's all I've heard from the right today and last night was those damn fucking, you know, Laura Loomer, those damn lunatic lefters, you know, did this. Honey. Oh, honey. As far as I know, they don't even have a suspect yet. How the fuck do you know who did it? Every damn time y'all say that. And every damn time, pretty much, it's usually a white male between the late 20s to mid 40s whose parents or grandparents are seriously religious. That's usually who turns out to be the shooters. And they also, either they or their parents, identify as Republican, specifically MAGA. We heard crickets on the same day in Colorado. Several people were shot, murdered in a school. You don't see Donald lowering flags for that, but for an influencer. Not even 2 months ago, 2 Democrats, a politician, was murdered, the Hortmans. They pandered for half a day, and that was over. Crickets, in fact, not only when Paul Pelosi was nearly murdered by a hammer-wielding maniac, not only did he not get any, like, thoughts and prayers even, Donald Jr. made a joke about that's his Halloween costume. They made fucking jokes about it. Then they accused him that it was his gay lover. That's how the right reacts when people that are left-leaning are murdered. When Whitmore, you know, the bad guy had a plan. They were going to kidnap, rape, and murder her. You didn't hear any outrage on any of those things because the violence was directed towards a progressive liberal person. You didn't hear anything but snickers and jokes about those incidences. So, Laura Loomer and all the other right pundits, including you, Donald, and Melania, is Barron just introduced anyway? I'm getting very sick and tired of you accusing us for everything. And then when one of the shootings is done by a transgender person, the whole thing is, oh, we told you, we knew it, it's all as if they're all by them. You are the ones fanning the flames. You are the ones throwing the logs on the bonfire. MAGA Republicans. You are the ones that need to turn the fucking heat down. You are the ones cheering when people are treated inhumanely. You are the evil ones. You revel when a progressive liberal person has anything bad happen to them. No thoughts, not even your lame ass thoughts and prayers are given. Even in a disinterested, uncaring way, you could at least lip service it. But you don't even do that anymore. So I am sick of fucking hearing you all yap about, the right did it, the left did it, the right did it. You say that 99% of the time. And then, when we find out they're a Republican, crickets. No, sorry guys. Oops. Nothing. This is not a solution. Violence is not a good solution. You don't say any of that to your own who are doing this and making these threats. But you accuse somebody who was nearly murdered of being gay while he's in surgery. And one of your own did that to him. So get the fuck off your high horses. I am in no mood to be listening to your fucking trivial banter bullshit. They're lies, and unless we see a person with a definitive, this is the shooter, then zip your fucking lips. Because you are the ones fanning the flames under that bonfire. You are the ones practically drooling in anticipation of payback. And you don't even know what the motive was. We have no idea. And you're already crucifying all of us. You don't find something wrong with that way of thinking? Because if you don't, get thee to a therapist or a nunnery, because you're really effed up, and your thinking and your perspective is seriously skewed. And if you've been listening to Donald Trump, well, his brain's not all there. And RFK's is certainly not. J.D. Vance flip-flops like a fucking thong up the ass. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. Christy Nome just likes to ride around to horses and grind up on the pommel. That's all she likes to do. Oh, and take different cosplay Christy pictures. I'm tired of you blaming all your faults on the progressive liberals of this country. Shut the fuck up. Sit the fuck down and wait to find out who the shooter is before you start shooting off your fucking mouths.